November 22nd, 2022. Wow. That sounds like some numbers maybe you should play in a numbers hole. 12, 22, 22. What if you went 2, 2, 2, 2, 2? Could be a winner. I don't know. I don't play the numbers, so I don't know, but I know people religiously play the number. So how's everyone? Sorry about yesterday. I had, every time the iPhone updates, some of the things you use change. Aunt BB2, hello. Seattle Ryan, good morning, good morning. So the do not disturb function changed. And I thought I just had to press it, so I thought it was on. Now you have to go on settings, press do not disturb, and in the upper right corner, swipe it, it comes down, and then another screen comes up with do not disturb. You press that, and then it sets the do not disturb. So now I know how to do it. Thank God for sons that know what they're doing. Sandra Williams, thank you, Sergeant Bill from Venice. Venice must be beautiful. Venice, Florida is gorgeous. I know a lot of cops live there. It's going to be 5 degrees in Louisville tomorrow. Wow. There's supposed to be storms up where I live, and my wife and 2 sons are coming down here on the 24th. I hope that their flight doesn't get canceled because I think the 24th it's supposed to be really freezing cold up north, but no storms. But the 23rd there's supposed to be a lot of storms. So I'm just hoping that it lets up enough so their flight can get out. They arrive here safely. I'll go pick them up at West Palm Airport and let the festivities begin. So, this time of year, guys, I always remember when I was on the police department. It was such an exciting time of year that you're going to be able to have some time off and be with your family. But the thing is that crime around this time of year historically always went up, because the bad guys, they got to get paid too. So they were doing robberies left and right, commercial stick-ups, street stick-ups, every type of thing. I remember one time a guy snatched a purse because he had to get his girlfriend a gift, and I was just like, I guess that's the mentality. That's how you think, Susan C., happy to be in San Diego. San Diego probably has the most beautiful weather in the world, bar none. It's just, you wake up in the morning and maybe drizzles a little bit, it's cloudy, then the rest of the day, boom, it clears up, and it's just incredible. What a place to live, right? Just gorgeous, San Diego. I've been there, Mission Beach, La Jolla, incredible. The Sisterhood of Knowing You're Enough. Hi from Pennsylvania. How's Pennsylvania? Must be super cold right now, right? People are freaking out because the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback has a hurt shoulder, a bruised shoulder on his throwing, his right shoulder. So Mishu, I think that's his name, he's going to start, but the Eagles only have to win 1 game in the last 3 games to clinch their division. Sorry if I'm talking about football and you're not a football fan, but I see people from Pennsylvania, and I know they're loving the Philadelphia Eagles right now, and they're probably one of the best teams in football, so I thought I would give them their little thumbs up that they deserve. Hurts is hurt. That's exactly right, Jersey Devil. Mickey Mantle, good to see you, buddy. Love the thumbs up. So yeah, yesterday, people calling me during this, I lost my sound. I had to start all over, but today we're cool. We're good today. I had gotten up today. I went to the gym. I did like 45 minutes, 50 minutes of cardio, get my heart going. Then I went out and I went to the beach for about an hour. Just sat on the beach. How invigorating is that? I guess today it's about 75 degrees. It was sunny. It does something for your life. Going to the beach every day, it just invigorates you. It just sets your mood. It makes you feel better, And especially when you're not going to the beach, right, going to work. Well, this is my work. And this is a labor of love. I love doing this podcast. So guys, let's get back to the Idaho investigation. And there's not a lot of new information on the case. And people that follow social media, people that follow this case, people that follow the broadcast media, the print media, people are getting frustrated. And that includes journalists. And what journalists have a habit of doing sometimes is sensationalizing things, and sometimes even making up scenarios. And that's what's happening on the whole YouTube content creators. There's not a lot of new information. So scenarios, and also I call it hypothesizing and theorizing, putting things out there that maybe are far-fetched. But again, in a case like this, maybe nothing is far-fetched. You know, I always believe in the expression, truth is sometimes stranger than fiction. And that happens to be true. Many times when you find out the truth, you're like, oh my God, that's really what happened? So, Ruth, run the world. We're spending the holidays in Seattle. I feel the same as you, only reverse. I'm from San Diego. Done with the sun. I love the sun. I don't miss the freezing days. I don't miss having to have my driveway plowed because it's 90 feet. I'm not shoveling it. I get a plow in there. I'm not, I don't miss slipping on my ass and falling down at this age. When you fall at this age, you got to check your body to make sure nothing's broken, you know? When you're younger, you just bounce right back up. When you're older, you're like, oh, that hurt, you know? So I don't miss all of those things. Paula Volta, you know what I'm saying? You're saying, you slip and fall on your ass at our age. It's not fun, and it's not funny. It hurts, you know? Love hurts, love scars, love wounds and mars. Any other heart not tough nor strong enough to take a lot of pain, take a lot of pain. Love is like a flower, takes a lot of rain. Love hurts. Not bad for an impromptu little song, right? Out of nowhere, I came up with the Love Hurts song because I slipped and fell on my ass on my driveway, you know? But, so let's get back. Yes, love hurts, Agati, but much love to you. Thank you, Agati. Much appreciated. I want to also thank all my mods out there. Lieutenant Pete, please, you've done so much more for me than I've done for you and Richella. I love you guys, and thank you. So I was just, you know, thinking about this case, and Sonia Boone, I know I'm 65 and had 2 knee replacements. I can't afford to fall. Love your singing. Thank you, Sonia. Sonia, I haven't had the knees. I've had both hips, and I'm 1 year older than you. I'm 66. So I don't want any new parts. I have enough new parts, and even the new parts, they don't feel the same as the old parts, you know, and they're supposed to be better, but they're not. Nothing's like your old hip or your old knee, you know. They're just a replacement. They're a substitution, not as good as. Seattle Ryan, I've had 2 THR and I'm 39. Wow. I wouldn't have wanted to start early. Sonja Boone, exactly. Yeah. So, but you know something? It's all good, man. It's all good. Seattle Ryan, total hip, 2. I've had 2 total hip replacements. Oh, that's what that meant, Seattle Ryan. Okay, total hip replacement, THR. You guys are using some slang and some abbreviations. It's like cops. When you hear cops talk, they use all of these. RMP, RDO, you know. All of these KP, known perp, you know, all these little abbreviations. PC, police commissioner, CO, commanding officer, you know, all of these little abbreviations. There's only one other organization that has more abbreviations than the police department, and that's the service, the Army, Navy, Air Force. They have all of those abbreviations for everything. Heaven 57, how are you, buddy? Good to see you guys. Tiger before you, NFG. I'm not going to say what that means, but yeah, you guys get the point. Abbreviations for everything, or what do we call them? Acronyms. That's one of the things we used to say. Just there was an acronym when I spoke about the police department. I don't know who figured this out, and it's called NEOTWY. NEOTWY. NEOTWHY. Well, no, wait. NEWTHY, right. NEOTWY. And what it stands for is when, where, who, what, how, and why. And those are the 6 things that are supposed to be in a report in the first paragraph. And it applies to a lot of things because it means when, where, who, what, how, and why. Answer all those questions in the first paragraph of your report, and you wrote a good report. If you don't, it's incomplete, you know. And I mentioned that other police department expression, 1,000 attaboys don't equal one ah shit. So if you write a report like that, you just got one ah shit, you know. So you have to trade in all 1,000 attaboys you've had. So guys, the Idaho case, there's no real new information on that case. And what that means at this juncture, this is day 39. And people are going to get very uptight and they're going to start using the term cold case. That does not make it a cold case. You heard Chief Fry on the news yesterday, and they've got over, I think it's like more like 12,000, 13,000 tips. That's one of the reasons they don't want to release everything that they know, is because even without releasing everything they know, they're getting a lot of tips that really are not telling them anything. But yet, they have to check out each and every one of these tips and close them out, answer them out. So, can you imagine they told the public, they told people everything they know about this case? You know, the amount of work and the amount of tips they would get would be insurmountable. Just they would not be able to handle it. Now, Chief Fry, who is basically the commanding officer of the Moscow Police Department, he made it very clear yesterday in a very short, like 2-minute interview, that the Moscow police are running this investigation. And not the FBI, not the Idaho State Police. He wanted it to be made very clear that they were running the case, but they are being assisted by the FBI. And I think the FBI now has 60 agents, 60 agents on this case. And the Idaho State Police, they didn't indicate how many investigators from the Idaho State Police, because they have investigators, but they also have uniformed state police officers patrolling Moscow. Because one of the things we all have to realize is that there's still a killer out there. You know, there's a killer that horrifically stabbed to death 4 college students. And he's still out there. He hasn't been caught. Now, all we hear lately, though, is theories. We hear a lot of talking heads predicting who this person is. There was just another FBI behavioral analyst. Elaine's Rottenbottom, did I hear the Hannah Clear theory? Yeah, no, I heard they had a roommate, apparently. Is that Hannah Clear that committed suicide? So people are saying there's a connection to that. I would think that, again, everything that's raised by social media, by tips, by the broadcast media, the print media, the police and the investigators on this case will have to check it out. They will have to check it out. And I'm sure they're checking out that Hannah Clear connection, if there is a connection, if there's maybe no connection. Look, when you follow this case, you hear all kinds of other theories. There's a theory now and about this being potentially drug-related, that this was a drug hit. I don't believe that. I totally do not believe that. But people try to connect the dots based on things that they hear, based on no vetting of the information, meaning let's check out the information, see if there's any possibility that this is a plausible theory. Look, the white car that was recovered in Eugene, Oregon, everyone was hopeful for that. Wow, is this the car? Is this a stolen vehicle that could have been used in the murder? That's what the police told us. They're looking for a white Hyundai Elantra, 2011 to Elaine's not drug. You know, I'm not talking about the girl who committed suicide, that was drug related. I'm talking many people are bringing up the possibility that this was a drug hit. I don't see it. I don't believe that. And that's why a lot of people are harping upon, oh, we got to get the toxicology back to see what drugs were in their system. Look, you have to get back every single piece of evidence in order to make a determination. But I'm not seeing, at this point, a drug connection to this. We've said on our show, and I think Phil Grimaldi said this, he believes in the KISS theory, Kiss, and you guys know what that means. Keep it simple, stupid. Bluntly and put it out there. Keep it simple, stupid. And what that means is you follow the evidence and you go where the evidence leads you. You start with the crime scene and you work your way out. You know, there's search patterns that are used in connection with that. A lot of crime scene searches are done by a spiral search, starting it where the most evidence is and do a spiral and go and outward, and then you make a determination as to how far the crime scene should go out. How deep should the crime scene go? How deep should it go into the woods? And then we also spoke about paths of entry and exit. Where did the perpetrator come into the house? We still don't have that answer. We don't know the answer. Do the police have the answer to that? Where did the perpetrator come into the house? What entry? Where did the perpetrator leave the house? How did he leave the house? There should be evidence to that. There should be blood evidence. There should be bloody footprints. There should be some kind of evidence. Apparently, many of the, or no, I shouldn't say many, but it wasn't uncommon for these doors of this house not to be locked. So therefore, there was not going to be a forced entry or a broken lock that the person could have come in. Based on the knowledge of this house, it appears that this perpetrator had been in this house before. He moved around. Jamie Pimentel, how are you, buddy? Did you see that letter to second floor Zana window? Go find me. I did not. Schmitty, good to see all you guys in the chat. 258 in the chat, 99 with the thumbs up. Guys, you got to get some more thumbs up. You got 2 thumbs. Let's get them up. I did see the video, Emily Robbins, of the police interaction at the house. I did see that. I would imagine that the police were frequently called to that house, and mostly for like maybe underage drinking. Both my sons went to a college down in North Carolina, and you know, you could get in trouble for drinking in certain places, open containers. That was the big enforcement of the police where they went to school. So I would imagine a school like this, you know, kids are, when you start college, you're between the ages of 17 and 22 for the most part. Undergraduate students, that's a young 17, 18, that's young. You know, you think of how young, I was a young 18. I was immature as hell, you know. I did all the stupid things that everyone does when they're that age, you know. And that's why we can never shake our head, you know. I think college for a lot of kids is a 4-year vacation where they learn how to drink, you know. And then when you realize that's not what life is. Now I got to get a job, and I can't drink like that. Cheated no more. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Thanks for keeping up on this case, Bill. Well, thank you so much for following me, guys. You know, sometimes we try to just report what's out there and the evidence. We realize that we're not investigating this case. We're basically watching the investigation, commenting upon it, putting our 2 cents in based on our police knowledge, our experience, what we think should be done, what could be done. But again, we're not re-investigating or investigating this case. That's not fair to the real police that are doing that. We could critique, I couldn't find that word. We could critique what is going on, But for sure, we're not out there. We're not boots on the ground. And to make really educated points to this, you have to be boots on the ground and be in the meetings, hear what's going on with this investigation, hear what the direction is. Where are they going? What does the FBI have? What does the Idaho State Police have? What direction are we going in? What tips did we get in the last 24 hours? What tips did we close? Did the tip on this or that, what was the results of investigating that tip? Look, we all got excited when that white Elantra was dumped in Eugene, Oregon, and was thinking, that's the car, that's the car. That's going to be the smoking gun piece of evidence. And it turned out to be nothing, right? The videos we've been watching, the videos of Kaylee and Madison walking to the food truck with the hoodie guy that everyone insisted was Charles Manson, you know, turns out to be that also turned out to be nothing, right? So, see, what might we see that will clue us in that there may be an arrest that is imminent? I don't think you're going to see a smoking gun. I think if they get their radar on someone and they get someone that they're looking at, they're going to move very, very methodically. They're not going to just because they want to make sure that they have the right person. Would that include, I used this word a couple of weeks ago, showed my, the whatever I spent on my education up to a master's degree, they may try to obtain DNA surreptitiously. I love that word, you know. That means if someone that's a suspect, you see them in a bar and they drink out of a glass and they leave, you take their glass and you try to lift DNA from that. Once someone discards something, they have no, oh, Relvin, I got to interrupt this. I wish people would understand geofencing data. You know, Evan, I think if I'm pronouncing that correctly, we spoke about that very early on in the case, and that's a very complicated process, geofencing. And folks, if you're not familiar with that, you can Google it. Really what it is that you're pulling off all the electronic devices that are hitting a cell tower at a very specific time. And in this case, if the killer or killers, if he had his cell phone with him or was using any kind of electronic device, they would be able to find that device and identify who had it and who was in the area at that time. Complicated, but the FBI, they have the money to do it. Apparently, you know, when they search a cell tower, it costs a great deal of money. I was telling you guys, when I was on the job, when we dumped a cell phone, it was up to $1,000 a day. These carriers don't do that for you for free. They get paid because they have to assign an investigator to it. So they would get paid. So geofencing, and it could take longer. It's not, maybe not back yet. It's not back. It could take longer than we're all expecting. You know, our impatient Relvin, even if he left it at home, he lived nearby, would put him inside the dragnet. But if it was in the zone of the area that they were checking, the time and the area that they were checking with this geofencing search, you're very right. And we brought that up very, very, very early on in the investigation. This is a relatively new technology called geofencing. And it includes laptops, tablets, cell phones. So that is another piece of evidence that is out there. Just me, I think they have a strong suspect in mind, but there's no strong DNA be found as regards to murders. That DNA in the house, but not within the actual murders. I felt like I was a paid broadcaster that was trying to read real fast because they only have a certain amount of time to get that in there. But I'm not that fast. You know, we spoke about DNA in this case and unidentified DNA because we investigators are currently professional investigators and Someone just said the commonality in this investigation is going to be the Greek system, the fraternities, the sororities. That could be, something, I happen to agree with that. I said very early on, and I just like to point out some of the things that we said earlier on. I said that every single person in the sorority and every single person in the fraternity should be interviewed. Every single person. And if they can get them to give a DNA swab, an exemplar, voluntarily, and if they could get them to voluntarily surrender their prints, I would do that also. Whether they did that, I don't know. There's a good possibility that if they asked the fraternity and the sorority to do that, they could refuse. They don't have to give it. So it's something that they could refuse. Another wealth of information, and you don't see their names out there that much, are the two girls that were on the first floor that survived this, that weren't attacked, that weren't killed, that were in the house. Those two girls, we don't know the results of their interviews. They could be a wealth of information, and we don't know. We don't know what they said. And as someone just brought up, the Greek system, the fraternities and the sororities, huge source of information in this case. You have to never quit on this investigation. Well, something, someone just said something about the privilege and the fact that these girls were white. We'll keep it in the public eye. I think that this is a horrific case, and that the victims were innocents. The victims were college students. 20, two of them were 20 years old, two of them were 21 years old. The fact that the girls were quite attractive, does that add interest to this case and intrigue? Yeah, I think it does in the world we live in. That's why are so many people nationally and internationally interested in this case? Is it because it happened just off a college campus? Is it the fact that it was extremely violent and done with a knife during the middle of the night? Why? Why is it why is it attracting people to follow this case? You could say the same about Gabby Petito. Why was that case so popular? That took the internet by storm, right? That case was followed. It became an international case. People were conjecturing about that. Kylie Rodney. That was a really also extremely interesting case. And people look at how that case, and just to look back on some other cases, to see what's going on with this case. Look at some of the things that the true crime and the YouTube content creators made up about that case. They were making up stuff like that was ridiculous, And does that hurt the case? Absolutely. The only people that said from day one that it was an accident was myself and Duty Ron. Everyone else on the internet was coming up with these sinister plots and all of these things that occurred, and that what we said couldn't be. That couldn't have happened, and they gave their non-expert opinion on why. So this case has some commonalities like that. The why. Do we know the motive in this case? Do we? I don't think we do. Would that help us in solving this case? Yeah, absolutely. The whole topic of our last show was victimology, the study of the victim, and a deep dive into the backgrounds of 4 different people. What in their backgrounds? Seattle, Ryan, the problem about commingled blood in this crime scene, and we spoke about this numerous times, the technicians could find the commingled blood and get a DNA profile, However, what if the killer is not in CODIS? That stands for Combined DNA Index System, which is held by the FBI. They are in charge of the National CODIS database. And every time I talk about that, there's two types of DNA. There's offender DNA and there's forensic DNA. And I'll explain to you what each of the different types of DNA are. Offender DNA is DNA that's in CODIS that is taken from people who have been convicted of felonies and certain misdemeanors. When they're arrested and when they're convicted, their DNA is taken from them involuntarily. It's taken from them. And that goes into the CODIS database. So therefore you would ask, what is forensic DNA? Forensic DNA is DNA taken from crime scenes of unidentified DNA. So therefore we could have a rape, we could have a robbery, we could have a home invasion, we could have a murder with DNA on the scene that's unidentified. That would go into the CODIS, but as forensic DNA because it has not been identified. So there's two different types of DNA, offender and forensic DNA. So I gave a little lesson today to you folks. I thought I would get to do a whole show without the damn blower going off, but now I couldn't be that lucky, you know. Seattle Ryan, you're very welcome. So that's one of the obstacles they're dealing with. Could they have the offender's DNA in this crime scene? Absolutely, I believe they do. And don't quote me because I don't know for sure, but many of us who have worked homicides and homicides with a knife specifically, I know you've heard it before, but killing 4 people with a knife, the offender most likely cut himself. And BB2, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Merry Christmas, Sergeant Mill. Go get some Baileys and enjoy it. Thank you so much. That was so nice of you. Really appreciate it. Unsolved crime, Snowline. Yes, I think jealousy is very likely less sexually driven, in my opinion. So, yeah, the DNA that they've collected in this, we know that four types of the DNA are the victims' DNA from the blood evidence. So their DNA will be collected and separated from offender blood. And again, can they identify the offender DNA through blood that's left on the scene? Now, I think it's more of it's not an assumption, it's a little more than that. I think that, Jerry Ann, hi Bill, oh no, the blower again. Today is blowing with Bill. Yeah, I didn't want it to be that. Blowing in the wind, how many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. I know, this is the landscapers on this property. They're going nuts with these blowers, you know. I thought I could get to a whole show without blowing, you know. The Singing Sergeant, good to see you. All you guys, and you know, I want all you guys to have a wonderful holiday. I really appreciate all you guys that you support us, and that's no small thing, you know. And if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell. We're almost at 40,000. I think I'm about 500 from 40,000 subscribers. And it's all because of you guys. It's all because of the support you've given us in 2022, and we're hoping for a big 2023, you know. Joseph Connor, thank you, buddy. Dragonfly Lady, there's so many young people in that house. Yes. Sherilyn Schaffner, thank you so much. Mountain Kayaker, good to see you. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Okay, Bill, you're dating both of us with those songs. Yeah, you know, I love Bob Dylan. I think he's probably one of the greatest songwriters that ever lived. I really do. when you look at his library of music, it's just incredible. No, I'm not going to have a white Christmas in Florida, but that's why I'm here. I didn't really necessarily want a white Christmas this year, you know? Yeah, this is getting loud with this guy. I could stand up and maybe walk away from it a little bit, but I don't know if I can even walk into the house to shut this guy up. My God. I'm walking away a little bit. It's a leaf blower, yeah. These leaf blowers are a nuisance. They are a nuisance. But you guys can see the palm trees, right? At least we get to see the palm trees, you know? Maybe I'll just go inside for a second. I just want to hear this guy, you know? This is the kitchen here, as you could see. Yeah, I had to get out of that. It's ridiculous to sit there and hear that just go off. Maybe it's blowing leaves or cutting down trees. It's all good on Solved Crimes. 375 in the chat, 199 with the thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for your support of Police Off the Cuff. I may go on this evening. I got to see what Phil is doing and Mike Geary. And I know Duty Ron is going on tonight, I think at 8 p.m. with Barbara Butcher and Ed Wallace, and do a deeper, another dive into the crime scene, you know, because there's been a lot of controversy in regards, like yesterday, it appeared that 2 detectives walked into the crime scene. And I know I watched Jennifer Koffendorfer on News Nation last night with Andrew Cuomo. Excuse me, not Andrew, Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo was the New York State governor. And they showed a video of 2 investigators walking into the crime scene. And retired NYPD Sergeant Joe Giacalone, he had a big problem with that. He had said that, why are they walking into the crime scene? Did they sign a crime scene log? And he's right. What he meant by that is that you don't think that when they do make an arrest on this case that the defense attorneys are going to have all of this video and they're going to use that to raise doubt, to say, who are these guys that walked into this crime scene? Yes, Railvin, cross-contamination, contaminating the crime scene. Locard's theory of exchange. You go into a crime scene, you bring something with you. You leave that crime scene, you take something out with you on your body, on your shoes, you leave your hair. We all lose X amount of hair every day. We're not aware of it, falls off our head and goes wherever we are. Nikki Bello, good to see you, Nikki. So good. Wow, did the guy turn off that damn blower? Can I actually go outside again? I want to go outside again if you guys don't mind. Show you the palm trees again. All right, there we go. I'm going to head out. I think it's still on. But he's further away. He walked somewhere. He walked away. This is like the little backyard here. It's just a little patio, you know, but you can see all the palm trees. It's nice. I can stand out here today. But so yeah, I mean, this case is such a challenging case. And I think the nature of it too is that it has grabbed the attention of the public, of the whole community, nationally, internationally. It's grabbed everyone's imagination. And everyone wants to predict, like they did with Gabby Petito, like they did with Kylie Rodney, about what happened. And the mistakes that people want to point out, the mistakes that the police are making. I mean, you hear everyone want to be a couch potato detective. You know, everyone wants to give their 2 cents in as what occurred. But we don't know what occurred yet. And we always say, follow the evidence, and that's what we're trying to do. Relvin, and public was mostly wrong on both. Yeah, isn't that true, Relvin? You're right. The public was very much wrong on both of those cases, exactly. But one of the things that's a constant, and everyone keeps pointing to it, is in the Gabby Petito case. A YouTube content creator had some video that was the smoking gun in that case. And what I mean by that, they had video that spotted the white van that was Gabby Petito's. And that's what led to finding her body. So social media absolutely did help in that case. So could social media help in this case? It absolutely could. But is it? But it also, at the same time, we talk about the double-edged sword. It helps and it can hurt. It can hurt because the police are overwhelmed with information. I remember when we would investigate homicides and when we had all of these different computer checks we were required to make. And one of them was parolees living within 500 feet of the crime scene. I never ever saw in my whole police career that help anything. That parolees within the areas that we were investigating the homicide, half the community was on parole. So it was just too much information, and the case folder became like a phone book. Did anyone really look at those 500 or 1,000 parolees within 500 feet of the crime scene? I don't think so. But it was an investigative checklist that we were required to make. But did it help us in our investigation? I don't recall. Another investigative technique and a checklist thing, and I saw this actually work, was taking down the plate numbers of cars within the vicinity of the murder. That bore fruit numerous times. Sure enough, out-of-state plate, boom, we ran the plate, that's the shooter. Parked his car right near the crime scene. So these little investigative checklist things, sometimes they're put there for a damn reason, because they've worked in the past and they can work in the future, Misdemeanor, cheers. Cheers to everyone, man. I'll cheer you with my water bottle right now. Guys, 416 in the chat, 236 thumbs up. Thank you guys for all your support. Relevant, Sergeant of California passed an law to join PD. You don't need to be a citizen, you just need to legal to work in the U.S. for any employer. I don't understand what's going on with this country. Being born here, being an American citizen, I don't know what it means anymore when they're just giving that away, and acting as if it's not important for things like employment, for things like voting. I think that, I don't know, I don't want to get in this political discussion, but it's crazy. A lot of police departments have had to dumb down their test, and they've had to lower their standards because the attacks on policing. People don't want to join the police force anymore. They're like, why do I have to put up with that? Look at what they have to put up with. So those attacks on police departments nationally, even internationally, have really hurt the police profession, have hurt it so badly. So we always root for the police, no matter where they are. I'm rooting big time for the Moscow police. I want them to get that smoking gun piece of evidence. I want them to make an arrest. I don't want to hear the media controlling this case. The media wants to say, oh, when is it a cold case? This is never going to be a cold case, all right? So I just answered that for you. But they're going to get some talking head coming out of the woodwork, probably, I always hear a lot of talking heads exaggerate their numbers of murders they worked. Oh, I worked over 300. Oh, really? When I looked at your department, you haven't had 300 murders in your entire department in 50 years. How did you work 300 of them? You want to maybe amend the amount of murders you worked? Crazy. Talks to angels. Lauren Acito, so true. My husband runs a police academy, and you wouldn't believe what gets in. Yeah, they're dumbing down the standards. Physically, they're letting obese people come on the job. That's ridiculous. When I was on the job, you had to do a mile run when you're in the academy, and people would drop out of the run. In my mind, they should be fired. Really? You're dropping out now? What are you going to do when your partner needs you to help save his life? You're going to drop out then? If you're dropping out of the run now, you should be fired. Period. Now they coddle them. you know, they don't, because of a lot of different things, they can't disgrace them in front because they'd be like, oh my God, you hurt my feelings, you know. But this is a job that will hurt your feelings, you know. So why don't you start training them day one, what they're supposed to do. And if they can't make the run, they can't make the physical qualifications, then fire them. Get rid of them, you know. It's absurd. And you know, on the police department, at least NYPD, you're on probation for 2 years. That basically means they could fire you for anything in those 2 years. But lots of times they don't use that. They don't do that. They just, oh, we'll give them double secret, we'll extend their probation. No, get rid of them now. They already showed that they're no good. They already showed that they don't want to do the job. They already showed that they're out of shape. They already showed a bad attitude. Get rid of them while they're on probation. It's much easier to get rid of them now, you know? So now I get this blower guy coming back. I can't win. I can't win. Yesterday I lost my sound. Today I got the blower guy, you know? Maybe he's just driving by with a lawnmower, you know? But, so, guys, I know that there's a storm coming in the Northeast. Snow lion, love that, love that. Yeah, that's a lawnmower. He just ran over something. Jerry Yen, couldn't agree more. Spot on, Bill. I like that target with the dart right in the middle. Same for teachers, 2 years probation for tenure. Doesn't it take a lot longer than 2 years though to get tenure? How many years does it actually take to get tenure? That's a crazy, sort of a crazy benefit, tenure. That after you have X amount of time and they give you what's called tenure, it's so difficult for them to get rid of you after that because you're protected by the teachers union, which is very powerful, you know. Hugo Stiglitz III, good to see you. Poker, go give him New York State of Mind, police off the cuff. Some folks like to get away, take a holiday from the neighborhood, hop a flight to Miami Beach or to Hollywood. Well, I'm taking a Greyhound on the Hudson River line. I'm in the New York State of Mind. That's actually a very, very hard song to sing. I just sang the beginning. If that goes on, it goes up and down and up and down. Billy Joel really has some strong, powerful, great singing voice. I mean, that he's been able to sing that forever, you know, just unbelievable. The blower isn't as bad as the chickens. Yeah, if I go home, I don't know what the chickens are doing now. Maybe they put the chickens away for the winter. Guys, I got about like 2 minutes left. This has been a pretty good little show. It goes fast. I love talking to you guys. We had 430 people in the chat, 266 thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for coming by today. Yesterday I had bad sound. Today the sound was great, but the blower guy came and invaded my space. Now it's the lawnmower guy. Wow. He just passed by. Oh my God. The lawnmower guy just passed. It's like a tractor trailer driving into your living room, you know. Talks to Angels, thank you. She said it was a great show. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to see about coming on tonight. I'll see if Phil's available. I'll see if Mike Geary's available. I think there's some new things we could cover, or cover some new things from an angle. I know that, as I said, Duty Ron, my buddy, is going on at 8 o'clock with Barbara Butcher, the superstar, Barbara Butcher, and Ed Wallace. So he's got the 1-2 punch. Just incredible. It'll be Joseph Connor, good to see you, buddy. And sometimes blowers are banned. Yeah, they're doing that in Westchester on some days. One of my neighbors is like, he's got every type of damn noisy device you can have, and he always wants to use it on the weekend or when you're off sitting in your yard, and it just drives you out of your mind. So guys, I'm at 49:30 around. Billy Joel canceled the shows at the Garden. He's ill. Let's hope he gets better soon. He's a treasure. The guy really is an unbelievable performer. I like chickens. Used to have some. Cherry Hill chickens. Those fresh eggs, I hear there's nothing like it. The fresh eggs are the absolute best. So guys, if I don't get to see you again, have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. God bless. From Police Off the Cuff, Coffee with Cannon. Backyard Beverage, Bitching with Bill, whatever you want to call it. Have a great day, everyone.